What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Jessica Batten, the resident villain of Netflix's Love is Blind, has actually come out in an interview with Entertainment Weekly and exposed production from the show for forcing her to stay on that Mexican vacation with Mark, despite the fact that she wanted to go back home and knew that things were not going to work out with him. When the host of the show asked her whether or not she had tried to leave the show early after realizing that she wasn't going to have any kind of chemistry with Mark, Jessica first responded by saying, and I quote, "I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that question." After a little bit more prodding from the host, Jessica was actually given the green light to essentially spoil the premise of the show by responding, and I quote again, "Okay, yeah, I mean, I had to stay. I definitely had a conversation about leaving and I wasn't able to do that. My dog got sick too and almost died during the show. I had so much other stuff going on." Apparently the issue with her dog was that it had ingested something that was quite toxic for it, and considering the fact that Jessica feeds her dog wine, I'm wondering if whoever was babysitting the dog tried to step it up with vodka or gin or something else. While continuing to lift the velvet curtains to the behind the scenes info of the show, Jessica continued on to say, "I wanted to be 100% in it, but I kind of went in and out of wanting to be 100% in it and knowing that I needed to deal with my dog. It was really frustrating because I kind of knew that Mark and I weren't going to get there. I definitely had some conversations and attempted to leave, but I wasn't able to." See, you guys, Jessica's confessions only make me more sad for her as a character. If you remember my original video about Jessica, where I talked about how I felt like she was the most integral character of the entire first season just because of all the lessons of self-love that her dynamic with Mark could teach a lot of us, I just felt bad for the way that she was portrayed on the show, and just finding out that she was forced to be there and to share a hotel room or whatever in a home with someone that she was not really attracted to or trying to be with or anything like that. It makes me feel so uncomfortable for her. We've all experienced that in one night or whatever, on a bad date or whatever, but Jessica had to experience that for weeks on end, and having to share one hotel bed. I don't know how she did it, and I can understand why she was drinking so much on the show. And again, it really makes me question the ethics of production for that one reason alone. But then on the second reason is the fact that they used this issue in her life to feed her to the wolves. Essentially the public has been dragging her and portray her as some sort of super evil, heartless villain, knowing that she was being honest with them and asking to be let go from the show because she knew that she was not going to fall in love with this man. They were like, "No, we're not going to let you go home. Instead, we're going to portray you as this super heartless bitch who is dragging this guy along while you're worried about your dog back home dying." You know how sick that is? And the backlash that Jessica has been receiving from the show has been so big that she's had to limit her Instagram comments, shut them off altogether, and she even deleted her Instagram for a little bit. My heart really does break for her that she was exploited in that capacity. And it also makes me question Mark as well, because I would imagine that he knew that Jessica was not in it. He probably knew, hey, this girl is trying to go back home because she doesn't want to be with me. And so I'm getting the flashbacks to him on the bed with his legs up, talking to her about sex or whatever, and him constantly trying to bring them to this place that he knew they were never going to get to go. So I'm like, is this guy really that slow or something? Is his self-esteem that low? Or is he a master manipulator who knew how bad Jessica would look, repeatedly rejecting him and playing into the audience's sympathy so that he would kind of have this golden boy kind of image where everyone would feel a lot of sympathy for him? You truly do have to wonder if he chose to exploit that type of a storyline to further himself. But maybe it wasn't even a Mark thing. It also could have been production that was telling him to keep acting like a love-struck puppy because it was going to be television gold. I don't know what to believe. I'm not saying Mark is a terrible person and that Jessica is this golden angel, but knowing this information, I think the people who come out the worst in all of this are the producers. In fact, I'm surprised that they even let Jessica come out with this information because it taints the experiment a lot, because the experiment to me and to so many people who are watching the show, and why we even fell in love with it in the first place, was it just seemed so pure. It was like people who really wanted to be in love, who struggled with staying and maintaining and accepting love as well, putting them all in a pod and just seeing what happened was very intriguing. But now to learn that people were forced to stay against their wishes, you know, in hotel rooms and homes with people that they don't want to be with, it makes me uncomfortable for them. And it also makes me uncomfortable that this was used to taint her image, because now here she is going back to real life and having a difficult time because she's being attacked due to production deciding that this is the way that they wanted to portray her, knowing that it could not have been further from the truth of who she is as a person. There are still a few questions left unanswered though, such as her obsession with Barnett. Remember, she kept sneaking off with Barnett to try and wean him off of Amber and come towards her and have a relationship with her. So I would like to see her answer that in tomorrow's reunion, because she's not 100% off of the hook there at the very least. Remember, she was like, if Barnett were with me, we'd be seeing a more confident, sophisticated, holding his head up high Barnett. I don't think that production put those words in her mouth. They might have put a lot of alcohol in her mouth so that those words would come out for entertainment value, but I don't think that production put those words in her mouth. And I am really curious to know about, you know, that side of things, why she was trying to steal someone else's fiance. I saw a preview of the upcoming reunion special, and in it, Amber is confronting Jessica hardcore, but they don't show her response to it. So that is gonna be some really good viewing to get into tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm curious how you guys feel about this confession from Jessica. Does it make you see her any differently, knowing that she was really struggling with sadness about the possibility of her dog dying while she was stuck, you know, having to fake a relationship with someone that she knew she did not want to be with? Does it change your view of Mark? Do you think that Mark was purposely playing up his hopeless romantic side or like victimhood in order to make her look like a supervillain? Like, why would he say yes to her at the altar? Why would he consistently act like she was the absolute love of his life and that no one else was, you know, in existence that could possibly be for him, if he knew that she was trying to leave the show? And do you think it was ethical for producers to force her to continue along with this charade? And last thing, there was another rumor that Kelly and Kenny were not even supposed to originally be on the show. They only got flown in when Diamond and Carlton broke up and then stitched into the episodes. So if they did that for the breakup of Diamond and Carlton, and then there are at least two other couples that had gotten engaged on the show but were not flown into Mexico, like Rory and What's-Her-Face, why would they not have allowed Jessica to go back home and then replaced her and Mark with Rory and What's-Her-Face, or one of the other couples as well? Like, it seemed like they had a couple of options here, but they chose to go ahead and tar and feather Jessica for entertainment value. And I really want to know what you guys' stance is on all of that. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.